bim bam boom! The Walking Dead Season 7 finale was just last week. It's still resonating with me, it's still hanging over me like a black cloud, but then I thought, why don't I just talk about the whole season? Don't worry, I won't spoil anything too big. I mean, there might be a mild spoiler as it relates to the premiere, but outside of that, I'll keep things intentionally vague. So if you watch Season 6, and I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you have at least seen Season 6, I mean, come on people, let's not go out of order here. At the end of Season 6, we finally see Negan, the man that we were teased about for most of Season 6. Jeffrey Dean Morgan pops in as Negan. Rick and his entire group are sitting there shitting bricks, you know, and they're just kind of like, oh, we screwed up this time. Negan basically talks shit for 10 minutes, and then he beats somebody in the head. And then the writers basically go, oh, but we don't want to tell you that. We'll wait until the season premiere of next season to show you that. I've already let my issues be known on that season finale from last season. I feel like it was cheap. I feel like it was just a cheap way to try to get ratings. I feel like it robbed some of the hardcore fans of a really iconic moment from the comic. But either way, as a traditional Walking Dead faithful, I still showed up for the premiere of this season. And basically, this season premiere picks up immediately after the events of Season 6. Negan is talking shit for basically the entire hour, and he has Rick's entire group held hostage, and they just can't get away, and again, you can hear bricks hitting the ground from their jaws. Really, the whole purpose of the premiere was to break Rick. That's what Negan was doing. He was trying to break Rick. And honestly, that's one of the more interesting story arcs for this season, is that Rick kind of has to rediscover his strength, because psychologically, Negan kind of rapes him in a way. That premiere features some of the best acting I've seen from Andrew Lincoln ever in the series, and honestly, I feel like Andrew Lincoln gave his best performance this season as a whole. This is the part where there's a mild spoiler. I feel like I can't talk about the premiere without mentioning that at least one of the deaths had significant meaning for me personally, and I won't spoil the other one, but the one that we all would know is Glenn. Yeah, Glenn. Poor Glenn. Faithful Glenn. Scout boy Glenn. Glenn is dead. Glenn passed away. And by Glenn passing away, that's kind of a euphemism for Glenn got his face and head beaten to shit savagely by a lunatic with a baseball bat, but Glenn passed away is better. But at least in death, we finally figure out what Glenn's favorite restaurant is.
It's Popeyes!
No? Too soon? Is that too soon? Yeah, that might be too soon. Either way, Popeye's Glenn dies in the first episode of the season in very tragic fashion, and that really sets the stage for a couple of interesting character arcs over the course of the season. It sets the stage for this to be a really dark, emotional journey, and really the building of a conflict between the Saviors, led by Negan, and Rick's group in Alexandria. As I said, one of the biggest arcs of the season is Rick kind of rediscovering his strength and rediscovering that badass savage Rick that we've come to know in the previous seasons. This all comes to a head in the mid-season finale. Some stuff happens, some really big shit happens, and that really is the beginning of the season for me. Don't get me wrong, there's some interesting filler in the first 8 episodes of the season. We get to see Negan, we get to see the Sanctuary, we get to see some of our heroes and our favorite characters interact with the Sanctuary. We see them caught in a lot of dangerous situations going back and forth. We see how much of a dick the Saviors are, how they constantly go to Alexandria, they take food from them, they go to the hilltop, they try to get food from them. But really, this all comes to a head in the mid-season finale where basically Rick is like, all right, I ain't nobody's bitch. I'm not going to be bitched out anymore. It's time to start doing something about it. And really at that point, you're kind of like, all right, it's about time. And then really the rest of the season after that is building towards this huge war with Negan. I gotta give shouts out to Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan. He is perfect casting, honestly. I really don't know who else I would want to play Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was brilliant. He is just the kind of asshat that Negan is supposed to be in the comics. He doesn't swear as much as Negan does in the comics, but it is network TV, so you kind of have to take that and run with it, I guess. And also Lucille. Lucille gives a great performance in this season. Yeah, Lucille is bloody. Lucille gets the job done. She's dependable, and even when she's not being used, you can feel her presence. And that, to me, is the mark of great acting from an inordinate object. No, seriously, great performance from Lucille. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Lucille, she puts all other baseball bats in history to shame. I would say one of the more interesting character arcs of season 7 is Maggie. Maggie, of course, loses Glenn in the season premiere. And then over the course of the season, we really see her come into her own as a leader. This didn't break her. In fact, it made her stronger. And keeping in wow the whole time, she's carrying the future in her stomach. We see her take a lot of strength from Glenn's death. We see her evolve. We see her basically by the end of the season become the leader of Hilltop. Maggie proves even more by the end of the season how much of a badass she is and how much of a great leader she can be. Herschel with his detached head would be very proud of her at this point. One of my other favorite things about this season is Michonne. Now, if you watch season 6, you know that Rick and Michonne are officially a thing now, right? Rick and Michonne, I mean, that is love right there. That is power. That is yes. That is the ultimate power couple right there. Seriously, if you want to hashtag relationship goals during a zombie apocalypse, you might want to take a good, strong look at Rick and Michonne, because that is how it's done. They have great chemistry, they're both badass, and the best thing about them is, she is his type of ride or die, and he is her kind of crazy, and that's why they work together. There's a great episode towards the finale where we actually get like a whole episode of them just bonding as a couple, something that I feel like we didn't get with Sasha and Abraham, or Abraham and Rosita from before. We get that with Rick and Michonne. We get a lot of time seeing them as a couple, seeing them interacting, seeing them have fun, and I really like that episode because it was one of those episodes where it's kind of like the quiet before the storm type of shit. There are a lot of standout episodes over the course of the season. Some of my favorites involve Tara and Heath. If you remember Tara and Heath from season 6, they went to go somewhere to scout for something or something like that. They went scouting, they went further inland. Seeing their journey and seeing Tara meet this other community, I think it's called Ocean View or Oceanside or some shit like that. That stuff was really interesting too. It also, there's a great battle with Rick and a freaking gladiator zombie. That's right, Rick fights a gladiator zombie, and it's kind of stupid the reason why, but it was awesome, and I didn't care. It looked really cool. We see a lot of characters like Daryl being pushed in darker and more psychologically harrowing places than we've seen them before. We see Eugene's true colors come out this season. Eugene and the pastor were kind of like two characters that were negligible to me, like I didn't really give a fuck about them. I really cared about Gabriel the priest by the end of the season, and I really wanted him to live. By the end of the season, I did not give two shits about Eugene. I will not spoil why, but seriously, Eugene can probably go fuck himself. That's all I gotta say about that. Again, as is typical Walking Dead fashion, there is a lot of build up. There are a lot of slow moving scenes. There's a lot of slow moving episodes. Some of those slow moving episodes really work well. Some of them don't work so well. As is the case with most Walking Dead seasons since they went to the 16 episode format, the pacing does drag in some spots. Also kind of disappointed about what they did with Carol's character. I understand story wise why they went the direction they went with Carol's character. Overall, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed with it. I mean, Carol is such a badass, and this season she's kind of a stay-at-home mom for most of the year. She doesn't really do anything. She just kind of... She doesn't do anything. She is residing in the kingdom, and we finally get, I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry, I'm not going to really remember his name. The actor who plays Ezekiel did a great job. It was a great introduction to him. It was a great introduction to the kingdom. The kingdom does play a huge role in things down the stretch of this season, and again, the actor who played Ezekiel, terrific job. I wasn't sure how to feel about him at first, but over time, I warmed up to him. Oh, and Shiva, the tiger, because we gotta talk about that damn tiger. That tiger has such a crowd-pleasing moment in the finale that is just... It is life. Immediately after the season was over, I was like, I want a fucking tiger. I want a tiger. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what I have to do to train it. I want a tiger. If the world is ending tomorrow, I'm going to the zoo and I'm going to steal me a tiger. Also briefly want to touch on the garbage people, because there's an episode late in the season where Rick is trying to recruit guns and he's trying to recruit people. And we run into this trash bag communities. I call them the trash bag cunts because there's really no other way to describe them. And the trash bag cunts are led by this really weird leader, and I just don't like them. Can't really spoil anything with them, but suffice it to say, I don't like them. They talk like they're from another century. They're really weird ass people. I really don't know what they were going for with these people. And like I said, the season has been building, and then we get to the finale where Rick has a badass moment. Michonne, even though she takes a couple of L's along the way, has a badass moment. That tiger, like I said, had a crowd-pleasing moment. And overall, this is probably one of my favorite Walking Dead finales. That's admittedly not saying much because I'm not a huge fan of the Walking Dead previous finales. But overall, I feel like this finale hit a lot of the notes that I was wanting to, and it really sets the stage for a really interesting and exciting season 8. Despite some editing issues with some of the action scenes in the finale, and despite the fact that there were some pointless flashbacks that populated the first half of the episode, I like the way things ended up, and I'm really looking forward to season 8. Again, guys, with The Walking Dead, you kind of have to know what you're getting in for. The pacing does drag in some points. Negan over-speechifying and talking shit for the whole season did get a little bit old at some parts. I hate the trash bag cunts, I don't like them, and the finale was kind of a mixed bag in the first half of it, but it really pays off. Overall, this was probably one of my favorite seasons of The Walking Dead. I really liked it, but I will give it the high end of Man of Steel, Silver Age medal for Walking Dead Season 7. Alright guys, that is my spoiler-free review of Season 7 of The Walking Dead. If you haven't seen the whole season, you might want to catch up now. I mean, we're about a week after the events of Season 7 finale, so get caught up and then come back here and watch that review. If you have seen Season 7, what is your favorite season of The Walking Dead? Let me know down below, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.